Hey guys, Christian Deadman here. And what do you do when she says, listen, I want half. I want half of everything. Everything that, you have, I want half of it. And that's a real thing. And it might be really frustrating to hear that, considering you may be the one that did the lion's share of the work to get the assets that you have. Maybe you're the one that's put the most money into retirement. Maybe you're the one that's paid the money down on that mortgage or put the money into the repairs on the house that gave you guys the house that you have. So here's the thing. You got to start by recognizing that, this is real. What's the law that we have to work with in Florida? And Florida starts with the presumption that everything you guys have gained while married, all the assets and debts, a presumption that these things need to be split equally. That's 50-50. So recognize the law, okay? But don't give up hope. That doesn't mean that everything that you got is going to go ahead and she's going to take half of it. That law only applies to marital assets, not to non-marital assets. And what are non-marital? Well, you may have brought some things into the marriage, and that stuff that you brought into the marriage may be non-marital, especially if you haven't commingled it. You may have a 401k or an IRA or an account that you had prior to marriage. And so while maybe that account has a marital component, it may very well have a non-marital component that if you do the numbers right on it and you stick to your guns on it, you can even get the passive appreciation of it. In other words, you may have had a retirement account that you had, you guys got married 7 years ago, and you had that account for 10 years. Those first 3 years, not only can you get the value of that account, but you can also get any passive appreciation on it. What would have happened to that account if you didn't put any money into it and it just grew naturally because of what the stock market did? There's also the after you guys separate. So separation is a date that we can use to potentially value what's marital and non-marital. And if you have been making money after you guys separated, you have a claim that stuff should be considered non-marital. You may have an inheritance account or something like that. And as long as you've protected it and preserved it the right way, you might have a claim that that's going to continue to be non-marital and she doesn't have anything to it. So recognize that there's a distinction between marital and non-marital, and be smart with your non-marital stuff. After you guys have separated, don't start commingling things. If there's a time when you have any questions, make sure you talk to a lawyer about it before you start doing certain actions. Keep your non-marital account and your non-marital assets and non-marital accounts. And most importantly, recognize it is what it is. But if you're cautious with the numbers, you can make sure that you're not going to get hosed on it, and make sure that you don't have to pay a single penny more than what the law requires.